The universe is full of mysteries that challenge our understanding, from the rings of Saturn to the farthest corners of Pluto. Each celestial body is a key piece in the puzzle that helps us understand not only the cosmos, but also our future. Why is it so important to explore these secrets? The answer goes beyond what we believe and connects us with the deepest questions of our existence. Visualize the solar system as a vast ocean where each planet, moon, and asteroid is a unique island, each with its own story and characteristics. By exploring these islands, we not only expand our knowledge, but also find ourselves in the process. What secrets could other planets reveal to us about the formation of our own home? Earth. Each discovery has the potential to change our understanding of the universe and our place in it. Human curiosity is insatiable. From the moment we look at the stars, we have sought answers to fundamental questions. Are we alone in the universe? How did Earth form? What lies beyond what we can see? As we send probes and telescopes into space, we get a little closer to unveiling those mysteries. Space exploration is like opening an ancient book, with each page revealing a new chapter in the history of the cosmos. But what about the importance of celestial bodies in our daily lives? The planets and their characteristics are not just objects of study. They influence our climate, tides, and the way we experience life on Earth. For example, the moon's gravity affects the tides, something many people take for granted. However, without this influence, our coastlines would be very different, and the marine life we know might not exist. Every space mission we undertake provides us with tools and technologies that are later applied here on Earth. Did you know that many innovations in medical technology and communications have their roots in space research? From the satellites that allow our mobile phones to function to advancements in medical imaging, space exploration has a direct impact on our daily lives, improving our quality of life in ways that are often invisible. Imagine for a moment the excitement of discovering a new planet or a moon that could harbor life. Each new finding opens the door to more questions. What kind of life could exist in a place like Europa? Jupiter's ice-covered moon. The possibility that we are not alone in the universe is a powerful motivator that drives scientists, engineers, and dreamers to continue exploring. Moreover, exploring the solar system helps us better understand our own planet. By studying other celestial bodies, we discover how worlds form and evolve, providing us with clues about Earth's future. For example, could the current climate change be a phenomenon that also occurs on other planets? By comparing the climates of Mars and Venus with our own, we gain valuable context that could guide us in seeking solutions. And let's not forget the human aspect of exploration. Every mission requires a collective effort, a collaboration of brilliant minds from around the world. Astronomers, engineers, physicists, and biologists work together, connecting their knowledge to achieve a common goal: understanding the universe. This spirit of collaboration is a reminder that although we inhabit a small corner of the cosmos, we are all interconnected in this quest. Space exploration also raises philosophical challenges. Each discovery invites us to reflect on our existence. What does it mean to be human in such a vast universe? How do our beliefs and cultures relate to what we learn about the cosmos? As we unravel the secrets of the solar system, we are also compelled to question our own perceptions and values. The importance of studying other celestial bodies goes beyond mere scientific curiosity. It helps us prepare for the future of humanity. With climate change and other global challenges we face, space exploration can offer answers and solutions. The colonization of other worlds could be a viable option if Earth becomes uninhabitable. The search for new habitable planets is more than a dream, it is a necessity. Every advance in our understanding of the solar system is a step toward a brighter future. By learning about other worlds and how they function, we not only become wiser, but also more responsible. Earth is our only home at this moment, and space exploration reminds us of the importance of taking care of it. So, as we embark on this journey through the solar system, let us remember that every corner of space is filled with possibilities. Every star, planet, and moon has a story to tell, and we are the lucky ones who have the opportunity to listen. Exploring the solar system is not just a matter of science, it is a journey of self-discovery that connects us all, uniting human curiosity with the infinity of the cosmos. Saturn is one of the most fascinating planets in the solar system, famous for its impressive rings and enormous size. But did you know that it also has moons facing surprising and tragic fates? One of these moons is Mimas, a small icy satellite that, although it seems like a tranquil place, is caught in a gravitational game that could lead to its destruction. Imagine Mimas as a small snowball in the middle of a storm, being so close to Saturn. It is constantly being pushed and pulled by the immense gravity of the planet. This force is comparable to how a magnet attracts a piece of metal, but in this case, Mimas is the metal and Saturn is the giant magnet. As Mimas orbits, Saturn's gravity stretches and deforms its shape, and over time, this could lead to a dramatic end. But what really makes Mimas doomed? The answer lies in a phenomenon called the Roche limit. This limit is like an invisible barrier that protects celestial bodies from being torn apart by the gravity of a massive planet. When an object, like a moon, gets too close to its host planet, the gravitational forces can overpower the force that holds the moon together. This could cause Mimas to disintegrate before becoming a new ring of Saturn. Imagine throwing a tennis ball into the air. When you throw it, Earth's gravity pulls it down, but if that ball were made of ice and orbiting a giant planet like Saturn, the gravitational pull would be much more intense. In the case of Mimas, it is right on the edge where Saturn's force begins to dominate. This constant struggle between the planet's gravity and Mimas's icy cohesion is a cosmic spectacle that could end at any moment. Mimas's fate leads us to think about how Saturn's rings are formed. What would happen if that moon finally broke apart? The remaining fragments could become part of the rings we all know and admire. This has already happened in the history of the solar system. The idea that a moon can transform into a ring is one of the wonders of the cosmos, reminding us that everything is in constant change. Saturn's rings are like a moving work of art created from the destruction of other celestial bodies. This leads us to wonder how many moons have been destroyed to form these magnificent rings. Although we cannot see it, the cosmos is full of stories of creation and destruction intertwined in an endless cycle. As we explore more about Saturn and its moons, we encounter the Cassini mission, which provided us with unprecedented insight into this gas giant and its surroundings. Cassini allowed us to see Mimas and other moons in ways we had never imagined. The images and data collected have helped us better understand how gravity works and the dynamics of these celestial bodies. The Cassini mission not only taught us about Saturn, but also made us reflect on the fragility of these moons. Seeing Mimas and its struggle for survival makes it easy to feel empathy for this small, icy world facing an uncertain fate. Exploring the solar system is not just about facts and figures. It is also about stories that connect us to the universe and make us question our place in it. But what happens to the inhabitants of Mimas, if they exist? The idea of life in a place that is doomed to be destroyed is unsettling. However, it reminds us that even in the most inhospitable places in the cosmos, the possibility of life is always present, even if it is mere speculation. The future of Mimas is uncertain, and its fate is marked by forces far beyond its control. This small satellite is a reminder of the beauty and brutality of the universe. Every moon, every planet, every ring tells a story, and Mimas, with its silent struggle, is one of those stories that invites us to think about the complexity of the cosmos. The exploration of Saturn and its moons continues to reveal secrets that could change our understanding of the universe. As we advance in our quest for knowledge, we discover that each celestial body has a role to play in the grand work of creation. Mimas, though doomed, teaches us about the ephemeral nature of existence and the importance of continuing to explore. So the next time you look up at the sky and see Saturn, remember Mimas and its struggle. This small icy world is a symbol of resilience and transformation, reminding us that in the vast universe, every celestial body has its own journey, filled with challenges and wonders waiting to be discovered. The force of gravity is one of the most powerful forces in the universe, and its influence extends far beyond what we can imagine. But did you know that this same force can become a true executioner for certain celestial bodies? Let's talk about the Roche limit, a fascinating concept that explains how and why some objects in space can be torn apart by the gravity of a massive planet, like Saturn. Imagine you are holding a mass ball in one hand and with the other, you are trying to squeeze a sponge. If you apply enough pressure to the sponge, it will deform and eventually break. Similarly, the Roche limit refers to the distance at which a celestial body, like a moon, can approach a planet without being torn apart by its gravity. If the moon gets too close, it becomes a victim of relentless forces. Now, you may wonder, what determines this limit? The answer lies in the relationship between the gravity of the planet and the cohesive strength of the object in question. If the gravity of the planet is stronger than the moon's ability to hold itself together, the moon will have no choice but to disintegrate. Thus, the Roche limit acts as an invisible barrier that protects some celestial bodies, while others are doomed to a tragic fate. Let's take one of Saturn's moons as an example. Imagine this moon, made of ice and rock, is in a cosmic dance with its gas giant. As it approaches, Saturn's gravitational force begins to do its work. The moon, which was once a solid and whole body, starts to experience stresses that push it to the limit. What will happen if it gets a little closer? The outcome can be both fascinating and terrifying. The moon will fragment, creating a spectacle of bright debris around Saturn. This is not just an isolated phenomenon, it is a reminder of how gravity can shape the universe at will. In this sense, Saturn becomes a cosmic sculptor, shaping its environment in ways we could never have imagined. The importance of the Roche limit extends beyond the study of Saturn. In our own solar system, this phenomenon helps us understand the history and evolution of other celestial bodies. Have you ever wondered why some planets have rings and others do not? The answer may be hidden behind gravity and the Roche limit. Saturn's rings, for example, are a direct result of the disintegration of bodies that exceeded this limit. A spectacle of beauty and chaos at the same time. It is fascinating to think that at one time those rings did not exist. They were formed by the destruction of moons that could not withstand Saturn's pull. So every time we look at these dazzling rings, we are witnessing the remnants of bodies that were stripped of their integrity. What stories would they tell if they could speak? Science has also identified other limits, such as the inner Roche limit and the outer Roche limit, which determine different behaviors of celestial bodies. These limits are fundamental to understanding the dynamics of planetary systems and how bodies in space form and are destroyed. However, the Roche limit remains one of the most visually striking and dramatic concepts in astronomy. Thinking about the Roche limit leads us to reflect on the fragility of celestial bodies. Sometimes, even the smallest of moons can meet their end at the mercy of gravity. And this is not limited to Saturn. Other planets also exert gravitational forces that can be equally devastating. The cosmic dance is beautiful, but also dangerous. For scientists, studying the Roche limit offers a window into the past. Every moon that disintegrates and every ring that forms tells us stories about the history of the solar system. But how many more of these stories are being told in places we have yet to explore? The universe is full of mysteries waiting to be discovered. In the end, the Roche limit is not just a technical concept. It is an invitation to explore the unknown. It reminds us that in the vast cosmos, beauty and destruction often go hand in hand. Every moon that disintegrates is a reminder of the force of gravity and how, in the grand scheme of the universe, our understanding continues to evolve. So the next time you look up at the sky and see a giant planet like Saturn, remember that it is not just a visual spectacle. It is a world where gravity acts as a master of ceremonies, dictating the fate of moons and creating breathtaking rings. Exploring the solar system is a journey of discovery, and the Roche limit is just one of the many wonders that await us. What makes Saturn's rings so fascinating? The answer lies in a dramatic event that occurred millions of years ago when an object that came too close to Saturn met a tragic fate. This gas giant, with its immense gravity, became the protagonist of an epic tale of destruction and beauty. But how exactly did those rings that dazzle us today form? First, let's consider the scenario. Imagine a massive iceberg floating in the ocean. This iceberg, representing a comet or a small moon, navigates through space on its way to Saturn. As it gets closer and closer to the planet, it begins to feel the powerful pull of its gravity, a force so intense that it can break apart even the largest celestial bodies. When the iceberg gets too close, the gravitational pressure becomes unsustainable. What do you think happens? Exactly, the iceberg breaks apart into thousands of pieces, each starting a new life as part of Saturn's rings. The rings are not just a visual spectacle, but a phenomenon that speaks to the cosmic violence that can exist in space. So why are Saturn's rings so special, unlike other planets that also have rings? Saturn's are the brightest and most extensive. This is due to their composition, which is primarily made up of ice and rock. Let's think about the nature of these materials. Ice reflecting sunlight becomes a spectacle that shines with an almost magical intensity. But how did those fragments stay in place, forming such an organized system? The answer lies in gravitational dynamics. Saturn not only acts as a tyrant, pulling objects towards itself, it also has a way of keeping the rings in delicate balance. Saturn's gravity pulls the fragments towards the planet, while the speed at which they orbit keeps them from total destruction. It's a cosmic game of tug-of-war, where each fragment of ice and rock is in a constant dance, orbiting around it. But how long will this dance last? Scientists believe that Saturn's rings are relatively young in cosmic terms. Perhaps just a few 100 million years. Can you imagine? Compared to the age of Saturn itself, which is about 4.5 billion years, the rings are almost a whisper in the vastness of time. This raises an intriguing question. Are Saturn's rings a temporary phenomenon that could disappear one day? It's fascinating to think about the implications. As the ice fragments disperse and are lost, the visual spectacle we know could fade away. But there is a tragic beauty in this. Life itself is ephemeral, and Saturn's rings are a reminder that even in space, where everything seems eternal, there are cycles of creation and destruction. Now, let's address another intriguing aspect. What about the composition of these rings? Upon closer observation, scientists have discovered that they are not homogeneous. They are made up of different sizes of particles, from grains of sand to huge blocks the size of a car. This means that, like an orchestra, each fragment has its own voice, creating endless patterns and shapes that tell us stories about their origin. Have you ever wondered how scientists determine the age of these fragments? Using advanced techniques, astronomers can analyze the chemical composition of the particles and compare them with other celestial bodies. This allows them to paint a clearer picture of the history of the rings and their relationship with the rest of the solar system. But despite all these advancements, there is still much to discover. Each new mission sent to Saturn brings more questions than answers, like a cosmic puzzle that never ends. Let's talk about the Cassini mission, which has provided us with an incredible amount of information about Saturn and its rings. This probe, which explored the planet for over a decade, became our eyes and ears in space. Thanks to it, we have been able to obtain spectacular images and crucial data about the dynamics of the rings. What surprising discoveries did Cassini bring us? One of the most exciting findings was the identification of small satellites within the rings, known as shepherd moons. These small celestial bodies help maintain the shape and structure of the rings, acting like shepherds guiding a flock. It's a perfect example of how gravity can shape the landscape of space, creating a cosmic ballet in which each body has a role to play. Thus, as Saturn's rings continue their dance, they remind us of the complexity and beauty of the universe. Each fragment, each turn, and each flash of light are witnesses to a story unfolding before our eyes. Who knows what other secrets this gas giant will reveal to us in the future? Exploring space is not just about discovering new worlds, but about understanding our own history and our place in the cosmos. After all, Saturn's rings are more than just simple ice particles. They are a reminder of the wonder and mystery that surrounds us. If you're enjoying this journey through the universe and want to keep exploring more cosmic mysteries, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and give the video a like. Thank you for being part of this Star Odyssey. The Cassini mission was a fascinating chapter in our quest to understand Saturn and its mysterious rings. Imagine a spacecraft the size of a bus, launched into space with the purpose of uncovering the secrets of one of the most iconic planets in our solar system. This probe, named Cassini, not only took us to Saturn, but also embarked on an amazing journey through the history of our universe. Since its launch in 1997, Cassini traveled millions of kilometers on its way to Saturn. What made this mission so special? The answer lies in human ingenuity and the desire to unravel the enigmas that surround us. Cassini was equipped with a variety of scientific instruments that allowed it to examine Saturn's atmosphere, its rings, and its moons, revealing details we had never imagined. One of the most surprising findings was the nature of Saturn's rings. Did you know that these rings are not a solid structure? They are actually composed of billions of ice and rock particles that vary in size, from small grains of sand to enormous blocks the size of mountains. The Cassini mission taught us that these rings are dynamic, constantly changing due to the gravity of Saturn and its moons. But the story of Cassini goes beyond the rings. As it approached Saturn, the probe discovered that its largest moon, Titan, had a fascinating landscape with lakes of methane and a dense atmosphere. How is it possible for such a cold and distant moon to have such intriguing features? Cassini was the first to give us a glimpse of this strange world, revealing that there could be processes similar to those on Earth, albeit under completely different conditions. Cassini's work was not limited to Saturn and its moons. It also explored the outer solar system, sending data that helped us better understand the formation of planets and their evolution. The probe ventured into deep space, gathering information about Saturn's magnetic field and its interaction with the solar wind. This knowledge is crucial for understanding how planetary systems work in general. A fascinating aspect of the mission was its ability to investigate the phenomenon of Saturn's rings. Have you ever wondered how these rings are formed and maintained? Cassini provided us with valuable clues. Detailed observations revealed that some of the rings are in constant flux, suggesting they are influenced by the gravitational interactions of nearby moons. It's like a cosmic dance, where each celestial body influences the movement of the others. Additionally, Cassini performed an astonishing flyby over Enceladus, one of Saturn's moons. During this flyby, the probe detected geysers that expelled water and organic materials into space. This was an exciting moment, as it suggests that beneath Enceladus's icy surface there could be an ocean of liquid water. The possibility of life in this extreme environment began to take shape in our imagination. The Cassini mission also gave us a unique insight into Saturn's atmosphere. By studying the layers of clouds and storms, scientists were able to better understand how weather systems work on gas planets. Did you know that Saturn has winds that exceed 1,000 kilometers per hour? It's like a giant hurricane that never stops, and Cassini was our window into this spectacular phenomenon. The probe not only focused on Saturn, but also observed how the planet's gravity affects its moons. This phenomenon is essential for understanding the dynamics of the Saturnian system. Each moon acts as a player in a cosmic game, affecting and being affected by Saturn's gravity. This delicate balance is what keeps the rings in place and creates a stable system. Finally, after years of exploration and discoveries, the Cassini mission came to an end in 2017. In a dramatic final act, the probe plunged into Saturn's atmosphere, sending data until the very last moment. This sacrifice was a tribute to the vastness of the cosmos, ensuring that the moons that could harbor life were not contaminated. It was a poetic closure for a mission that gifted us with unprecedented knowledge. The Cassini mission not only taught us about Saturn, but also left us a lesson about human curiosity and our desire to explore. It showed us that through science and technology, we can unravel the mysteries of the universe and approach the unknown. Space exploration invites us to dream, to wonder what lies beyond, and to keep seeking answers in a vast and surprising cosmos. As we reflect on Cassini's achievements, it is impossible not to feel a mix of awe and gratitude. The probe allowed us to see beyond what our eyes can capture and pushed us to continue exploring. What other wonders might be waiting to be discovered in the corners of the universe? The story of Cassini is just one chapter of our cosmic adventure, and the future promises to be even more exciting. The Earth, our home, has a rotation that makes it unique and fascinating. But did you know that its rotation has not always been the same? In the vast stage of the universe, the rotation of our planet has undergone changes over millions of years. This phenomenon may seem like a minor detail, but in reality it has enormous implications for life on Earth. When thinking about the rotation of the Earth, it's easy to imagine it as a spinning top in infinite space. However, as time goes by, that top does not spin in the same way. The rotational speed of our planet has been gradually slowing down due to tidal friction, among other factors. This change, although small, could affect everything from the climate to life itself. The question that arises is, what would happen if the Earth began to spin faster? Imagine for a moment that a day on Earth lasts only 24 hours, but suddenly a day is reduced to 17 hours. That acceleration in rotation could have disastrous consequences. Winds would be more intense, oceans would churn, and overall the climate would become much more extreme. Life, as we know it, could be threatened. How does this affect the climate and nature? The rotation of the Earth influences how solar energy is distributed across the planet, as winds and ocean currents change. So do temperatures and climate patterns. Increased rotational speed could mean stronger storms, prolonged droughts, and changes in ecosystems that could be devastating for many species. Now let's talk about a topic that is on everyone's lips: global warming. This is where the rotation of the Earth takes an unexpected turn. As glaciers melt due to rising temperatures, the distribution of landmass is changing. This phenomenon alters how the Earth spins. That's right, melting ice not only affects polar bears but may also be accelerating the planet's rotation. It's shocking to think that something as simple as melting water can have such a profound effect. As the ice disappears, water is redistributed across the planet, which can cause the Earth to spin more quickly. This change, although subtle, could be enough to affect our days, our nights, and ultimately, our way of life. But what does this mean for us? If the Earth becomes faster in its rotation, we could experience shorter days and longer nights. For many, this could be a dream, more time to enjoy daily activities. But in practice, this change could bring a series of challenges. Agriculture could be affected, plant growth cycles altered, and consequently, our food security could be at stake. It's fascinating to think about how everything is interconnected. The rotation of the Earth, global warming, climate, and even our food are intertwined in a complex web of causes and effects. Every action has a reaction, and in this case, the melting of glaciers could have a domino effect that impacts the entire planet. Let's imagine for a moment what this means for future generations. If we do not start acting now to mitigate global warming and take care of our environment, we could be condemning our children and grandchildren to live in a world where days are shorter and weather conditions are unpredictable. The fight against climate change is not just about saving penguins, but about ensuring that the planet we leave behind is habitable. Science offers us solutions, but we need to act urgently, from using renewable energy to reforestation. Every small action counts. Changing our consumption habits, reducing our waste, and educating future generations are fundamental steps to preserving our planet. If we become aware of how our actions impact the Earth, we can help maintain its balance and rotation. Deep down, we are all part of this incredible cosmic dance. Every turn of the Earth is a reminder of how fragile our existence is. The planet's rotation not only gives us days and nights, but also connects us to the vast universe that surrounds us. If we take care of our home, we can ensure that it continues to spin for generations to come, offering the promise of a bright future full of possibilities. So, as we continue to explore the cosmos, let's never lose sight of what we have here on Earth. The rotation of our planet, although it may seem like a trivial detail, is a phenomenon that deserves our attention and care. After all, every turn counts, and every action adds up in the quest to preserve our home in the universe. The Earth, our home, spins at a surprising speed. But did you know that this rotation has not always been the same? Over the years, the speed of the Earth has fluctuated, bringing with it fascinating implications. How does the speed of the planet's rotation affect our daily lives? What would happen if it spun faster? First, it's important to understand that the Earth's rotation is not just a physical movement. It also influences our climate, the oceans, and even life itself. For example, if the Earth spun faster, days would be shorter. Imagine a day lasting only 10 hours. How would that change our daily routine? The sunlight would be more intense for less time, which could affect crops and entire ecosystems. Moreover, an increase in rotation speed could influence wind patterns. Hurricanes and storms might become more intense, as centrifugal force would increase. But that's not all. The acceleration of rotation could also affect how we feel. The speed at which we spin could change the gravity we experience, making certain movements more difficult and tiring. The Earth is constantly changing, and one of the factors that affects it the most is the melting of glaciers. As these giants of ice melt, the water that was once trapped in them moves to the oceans. This not only causes sea levels to rise, but also alters the distribution of weight on the Earth's crust. Can you imagine how this could influence the planet's rotation? With every drop of water that shifts, the Earth adjusts, as if changing its clothing. This change in weight can cause the rotation to speed up or slow down, depending on how the water is redistributed. Thus, global warming not only affects glaciers, but also plays a role in how our planet spins. The concept of the spin effect becomes even more intriguing when we consider that the Earth is not a perfect sphere. It is slightly wider at the equator and narrower at the poles, meaning that its rotation and shape are connected. As ice melts and water is redistributed, the shape of the Earth can also change, again affecting its rotation. Now, let's talk about another fascinating aspect. What would happen if the Earth began to spin faster than normal? Could we experience shorter days and longer nights? Undoubtedly, this would have consequences for our daily lives. Agriculture, for example, could be affected, as many plants rely on specific light cycles to bloom. A change in the length of the day could disrupt these cycles, impacting global food production. And when it comes to marine life, the impact could be even more complex. The oceans, which are the heart of the Earth's climate, would also be affected. Ocean currents, which are formed thanks to the Earth's rotation, could change, affecting water temperature and consequently marine life. What would happen to the ecosystems that depend on these currents to survive? In this context, it is crucial to reflect on how our actions are affecting the planet. Human activities, such as burning fossil fuels, are accelerating global warming, which in turn impacts the delicate balance of the Earth's rotation. Every small change we make can have far-reaching repercussions. That's why it's vital to be aware of our ecological footprint. The way we care for the planet affects not only the current generation but also future ones. If we do not take action now, we could find ourselves facing a future where the Earth's rotation and its consequences are more drastic than we can imagine. In this sense, science plays a fundamental role. Scientists are constantly monitoring the Earth's rotation and studying how climate changes impact it. Can you imagine the surprises that these studies might hold for us in the future? The Earth is a complex and dynamic system, and although it sometimes seems calm, there is a constant dance of forces interacting within it. Every small change, every drop of water, every gust of wind counts in this cosmic ballet. So the next time you look at the clock and realize the day has flown by, remember that the rotation of our planet is a wonderful and ever-evolving phenomenon that affects us more than we might think. In conclusion, the rotation of the Earth is one of the many wonders of our home in the universe. From the melting of glaciers to the effects of global warming, every aspect is interconnected and has the potential to affect our future. Exploring and understanding these phenomena is vital to preserving our planet, not just for ourselves but for generations to come. Pluto, that small and enigmatic world once considered the 9th planet of the solar system, holds fascinating secrets that have captured the imagination of scientists and enthusiasts alike. Did you know that, despite its remoteness, Pluto is a place full of geological activity? Observing it, one might think it is just a simple block of ice and rock, but in reality, it is much more than that. In 2015, the New Horizons spacecraft reached its destination, and what it discovered changed our perception of this distant world. As New Horizons approached, it took stunning images of Pluto's surface, but what truly surprised scientists was the variety of geological features it found. Why are there ice mountains rising above vast, smooth plains? And what about those strange glaciers that seem to flow like rivers? Pluto is a place where ice is not only present but acts as a building material for its landscape. Pluto's active geology raises intriguing questions about how that internal heat is maintained. Despite being so far from the Sun, what could be causing Pluto to have this activity? One of the most fascinating concepts is that of internal friction. As Pluto moves and its surface deforms, heat is generated. This heat could be enough to keep certain geological processes ongoing, such as the movement of glaciers. Moreover, the discovery of Sputnik Planum is a vast nitrogen ice plain leads us to wonder about Pluto's history. How did this unique landscape form? The answer may lie in the impacts of asteroids and comets that have struck its surface over millions of years. Each of those impacts could have left marks that now tell the story of a constantly changing world. Scientists also found signs of a possible atmosphere on Pluto. But what does this mean? An atmosphere, albeit thin, suggests that Pluto is not a dead and cold body. The presence of gases like methane and nitrogen invites us to imagine how they might interact with the surface and affect the formation of geological features. Could there be cycles of activity that reflect seasonal changes, even in such a distant world? The New Horizons mission was not just about obtaining images, but also about conducting a thorough analysis of Pluto's composition. The instruments aboard the spacecraft allowed scientists to study the light reflected from the surface, revealing the presence of complex compounds that could be key to understanding Pluto's chemistry. Could these compounds be necessary for life, just like those we find on Earth? One of the biggest surprises was the detection of water ice on Pluto's surface. This opens the door to the possibility that, in the past, Pluto may have had warmer conditions, perhaps even liquid water on its surface. Is it possible that this distant world was a more habitable place in its history? The idea that Pluto could have harbored liquid water challenges our notions about the conditions necessary for life. The findings from New Horizons have led to new theories about the formation of the solar system. How does Pluto fit into the puzzle of the evolution of our cosmic neighborhood? The relationship between Pluto and its moons, especially Charon, also raises questions about how these bodies interact with each other and their shared history. Could they have mutually influenced their development over the eons? The story of Pluto does not end with the New Horizons mission. As scientists analyze the data and continue their research, more questions arise. What other mysteries might be revealed in the future? The exploration of Pluto is just a part of a larger journey toward understanding our solar system. Each discovery leads to new avenues of research and brings us a little closer to answering fundamental questions about life and our place in the universe. It's not just about Pluto, but how each space mission helps us unravel the secrets of other worlds. Human curiosity drives us to keep exploring, to keep asking, what else could we learn about Pluto and other celestial bodies in our quest to understand the cosmos? As technology advances, the opportunities for investigation expand, and there will always be new horizons to reach. In summary, the exploration of Pluto reminds us that even in the farthest corners of our solar system, there is still much to discover. The story of this small dwarf planet is a testament to the wonder and complexity of the universe. Each new finding invites us to admire the beauty and diversity of celestial bodies and to reflect on our own existence in this vast cosmic stage. What surprises does the future hold for us in our exploration of the solar system? The answer is waiting to be discovered. What are black holes really? Imagine a place in space where gravity is so intense that not even light can escape. That is the essence of a black hole. They form when a massive star exhausts its fuel and collapses under its own gravity. At this moment, all the material of the star is concentrated in an extremely small point, creating a singularity. But the curious thing is that although we cannot see them directly, black holes tell us their story through what happens around them. How do objects behave near a black hole? Imagine you are on a boat in the ocean. If you get close to a whirlpool, you will feel the force of the water pulling you in. In space, a black hole acts similarly. Objects that get too close are pulled in by its gravity, and this process can be devastating. Sometimes you can even see disks of matter swirling around them, illuminated by the friction and energy they generate. But what about the famous point of no return? That is the area surrounding a black hole, known as the event horizon. If you cross that boundary, there is no turning back. The idea of a place where time and space behave differently is both fascinating and terrifying. Once you enter, you become part of the mysterious dance of the black hole. What role do they play in the universe? Black holes are not just destroyers, they are also fundamental to the formation of galaxies. Imagine they are like engines driving the evolution of cosmic structures. At the center of many galaxies, including our own home, the Milky Way, lies a supermassive black hole that influences the movement of the stars and gas surrounding it. The existence of black holes has been confirmed by observing how their gravity affects their environment. When we see stars orbiting an invisible point, we know there is a black hole there. It's like a cosmic game of hide and seek. The more we investigate, the more we realize that these mysterious objects are essential to our understanding of the cosmos. What about supermassive black holes? These giants can have millions or even billions of times the mass of our sun. Their size and power are hard to imagine, but how do they form? There are several theories. One of the most popular suggests that they form from the merging of smaller black holes or from the accumulation of matter over billions of years. Sometimes black holes are talked about as if they are devouring monsters, but they are also objects that teach us about the physics of the universe. Einstein's theory of relativity helped us understand how gravity can curve space and time. And black holes are proof of this theory in action. They show us that the universe is a place full of surprises and phenomena that challenge our understanding. However, not everything is lost if we find ourselves near a black hole. Scientists are exploring the idea that these objects could serve as portals to other parts of the universe thanks to the theory of wormholes. While this may sound like science fiction, the possibility that these pathways through space-time exist leads us to intriguing questions about the future of space exploration. The question of whether there is life elsewhere in the universe is also intertwined with our study of black holes. If we could find a way to travel through them, could we access distant worlds? Imagination runs wild when thinking about the possibilities of crossing unimaginable distances in the blink of an eye. Black holes also push the boundaries of our scientific understanding. Each new discovery about them raises more questions than answers. What happens inside a black hole? How does time behave within it? These questions keep scientists constantly searching for answers, trying to unravel the secrets that the universe has hidden for so long. The excitement of studying black holes lies in their enigmatic nature. They remind us that although we have managed to understand much about the cosmos, there are still mysteries that challenge us and invite us to keep exploring. Each discovery brings us a little closer to understanding the fabric of the universe and our place within it. Ultimately, black holes are a reminder that the universe is an extraordinary place, full of phenomena that defy our imagination. They teach us about gravity, time, and space, and make us reflect on what we truly know and what we still have left to discover. It is a fascinating journey that is just beginning, and every step we take leads us to a more complex and wonderful universe. So, what secrets will black holes reveal to us in the future? The answer is waiting to be discovered. What if I told you that there is a giant in our solar system that has not only witnessed the history of Earth, but has also played a crucial role in our evolution? This colossus is Jupiter, the largest planet in the solar system. Its size is so imposing that it could hold more than 1,000 Earths inside it. However, its greatness is not limited to its size. Jupiter is a master of gravity, and its influence has shaped the fate of our planet in surprising ways. Can you imagine how such a distant planet could affect life on Earth? The answer lies in its powerful gravity, which acts as a protective shield. Jupiter, being so massive, attracts many of the asteroids and comets that could threaten our home. Without it, Earth would be in a constant battle against these celestial bodies, which could have led to a very different history for life on our planet. In a sense, Jupiter is our cosmic guardian. Imagine a soccer field where Jupiter is the goalkeeper. Every time an asteroid or comet approaches, it jumps and deflects it, ensuring that it does not impact Earth. However, this giant does not just protect, it also plays a more subtle role in our history. By interacting with other planets, its gravity has influenced their orbits and the formation of the solar system as we know it. Without Jupiter, Earth might not have followed the same trajectory over the millennia. Did you know that Jupiter has also been responsible for the creation of some of the asteroids that orbit our system? When the planets formed, the materials that did not coalesce into planets mostly remained in the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. Jupiter, with its powerful gravity, acted like a magnet, attracting and disintegrating some of these bodies. So in a sense, Jupiter has not only protected Earth, but has also played an active role in the creation of objects that could have endangered our existence. Over the years, scientists have studied how Jupiter's gravity has influenced other planets. For example, its presence has stabilized Earth's orbit, allowing our climate to remain relatively constant over the eons. This has been vital for the development of life as we know it. Without Jupiter, we could have experienced extreme climate changes that would have made life on our planet impossible. Now, what if we consider Jupiter's impact on Earth in another way? Think about how gravity could also have played a role in the evolution of species. The stability provided by Jupiter might have allowed ecosystems to evolve more predictably, leading to conditions that favored the diversity of life. In this sense, Jupiter is not just a protector but also a facilitator of evolution. Jupiter's influence does not stop at Earth. This gas giant has a system of moons, some of which, like Europa, could harbor conditions suitable for life. Europa is an icy world believed to have a subsurface ocean, and Jupiter, by maintaining the stability of this system, could be playing a role in the possibility of life elsewhere in the solar system. The search for life on Europa is one of the most exciting missions in modern space exploration. Imagine that each of Jupiter's moons is a little story in itself. Each has its own set of characteristics and mysteries. And Jupiter's gravity not only affects their orbits but could also influence their internal conditions. Europa, Ganymede, and Callisto are moons that, thanks to Jupiter's influence, could be in an environment where life has a chance to emerge. Who knows what secrets they might hold? As we explore the relationship between Jupiter and Earth, it is fascinating to think about how humanity has come to understand this connection. Telescopes and space probes have provided valuable data about the gas giant and its moons. Each discovery is like a piece of a cosmic puzzle that helps us better understand our place in the universe. Science is not just about numbers and formulas, it is a quest for answers to profound questions. Jupiter, in its majesty, has taught us that often the great mysteries of life are intertwined in ways we could never have imagined. The next time you look up at the sky and see a bright point, remember that this point could be an ancient protector, a guardian of life on Earth. Finally, Jupiter's influence invites us to reflect on how planets and their interactions form a delicate fabric that sustains life. Exploring this giant is not just a journey through space, but also a journey through time. A reminder that each of us is connected to a vast universe filled with wonders and mysteries. As we continue our quest for knowledge, Jupiter will remain a beacon of curiosity and awe, guiding us toward new frontiers in the exploration of the cosmos. The search for life on Europa is a topic that sparks the curiosity of many. What secrets does this icy moon of Jupiter hold? Imagine a vast ocean hidden beneath a thick layer of ice, a place where life could exist far from the warmth of the sun. Europa, one of the most intriguing moons in the solar system, has characteristics that make it an ideal candidate for harboring life forms. The surface of Europa is a spectacle of shining ice, but what lies beneath is even more fascinating. Scientists believe there is a liquid water ocean beneath that ice layer. Why is this so important? Because on our own planet, water is fundamental to life. From tiny bacteria to enormous marine mammals, all depend on this vital resource. If there is water on Europa, it is plausible that some form of life could also exist. So, how do we know there is water on Europa? Observations from spacecraft have revealed that its surface is filled with fractures and cracks. These features are indicative of a moving and changing ocean. Additionally, geysers have been detected that expel water vapor into space, suggesting that the ocean may be in contact with the ice's underside. This could create an environment similar to the deep ocean trenches on Earth, where life thrives in extreme conditions. The question that arises is, what kind of life could exist on Europa, on Earth? We have found organisms living in places once thought to be uninhabitable, such as the depths of the ocean or in hot springs. These extremophiles, as they are called, are examples of how life can adapt to extreme conditions. If life can thrive in the most inhospitable places on our planet, could it do the same on Europa? The search for life on Europa is not just about finding large, visible creatures. Life forms may be microscopic, like those found in our oceans. However, even the smallest organisms can have a significant impact on the ecosystem. Imagine the possibility of a complete ecosystem beneath the ice, a place where every organism plays a crucial role in the balance of life. To investigate these possibilities, NASA has planned an exciting mission called Europa Clipper. This spacecraft, which will launch in the near future, is designed to study the moon in depth. What will it actually do? It will perform a series of flybys, collecting data on the surface composition, ice thickness, and the nature of the underlying ocean. The information it gathers could change our understanding of what constitutes life. One fascinating aspect of this mission is that Europa Clipper will not only search for water but also for chemical compounds that could be indicative of life. Carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, and sulfur are essential elements for life as we know it. The presence of these elements on Europa would be a significant step toward confirming that life could exist there. What if we find life on Europa? That would be a monumental revelation. It would not only confirm that we are not alone in the universe, but also expand our understanding of biology and evolution. The possibility of life on other worlds leads us to rethink the history of life on Earth and how it might have arisen elsewhere. However, the exploration of Europa is not without challenges. The conditions on the moon are extreme. The low temperatures and intense radiation from Jupiter present significant obstacles for any mission, but science has always found creative ways to overcome difficulties. Engineers are designing technology that will allow the spacecraft to withstand these harsh environments. The search for life on Europa also raises ethical questions. If we find life, no matter how small, how should we act? Protecting any form of life, even microorganisms, would become a priority. Respect for these new ecosystems could be crucial to the relationship we establish with other worlds. The exploration of Europa is just one part of our broader quest for knowledge. Every discovery, whether on a nearby planet or a distant moon, brings us closer to understanding our place in the cosmos. Human curiosity is insatiable, and every question we answer generates even more inquiries. As science advances, it is vital that we continue to support these missions. Space exploration is not just an adventure, it is an investment in the future of humanity. Through the study of other celestial bodies, we can learn more about our own planet and perhaps about life itself. The mystery of Europa invites us to dream. It reminds us that the universe is vast and full of surprises. Every attempt to explore and understand the unknown is a step forward in our quest for answers. Perhaps one day we will discover that life exists where we least expect it, and that would change everything we know about the universe and our existence within it. Europa, the moon, a small icy world orbiting Jupiter, is one of the most intriguing places in the solar system. What makes it so special? Imagine an ocean hidden beneath a thick layer of ice, an ocean that could harbor life. And that is precisely why the Europa Clipper mission has captured the attention of scientists and space exploration enthusiasts. The Europa Clipper mission has a clear objective: to investigate the conditions that could allow for the existence of life on this mysterious satellite. But how do they plan to do it? The key lies in the advanced technology that will carry out the mission. The Clipper spacecraft will be equipped with a variety of instruments designed to analyze the surface and subsurface of Europa. This includes high-resolution cameras and spectrometers that can study the composition of the ice and water. The question we all ask is, how did scientists conclude that Europa could be a place where life might thrive? The answer is fascinating. For years, scientists have observed that Europa has a bright, smooth surface, suggesting it is covered by an ocean of liquid water. This ocean could be home to microbial organisms, similar to those living in the most extreme environments on Earth, such as the depths of the oceans. So, what about the ice? Why isn't it an obstacle for life? Despite being a barrier, the ice serves as a protective shield. It envelops the ocean, maintaining a suitable temperature and shielding the water from harmful radiation from space. Additionally, it is believed that there are hydrothermal vents on the ocean floor of Europa that could provide the necessary energy to sustain life, much like those found in the depths of Earth. The Europa Clipper will not only search for water, but will also analyze the chemistry of the ocean. What elements are essential for life? Carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen are fundamental. The Clipper will explore whether these elements are present in Europa's ocean, opening the door to the possibility that life, even in simple forms, could exist. One of the most intriguing features of Europa is its geology. The surface is filled with fractures and folds, suggesting that the ice is moving. This movement could indicate that the ocean is not just a static pond, but a dynamic environment. What does this mean for the search for life? A moving environment could favor the mixing of nutrients and the circulation of water, creating conditions conducive to life. However, the mission is not without challenges. The distance from Europa to Earth is considerable, and the spacecraft will have to traverse Jupiter's intense magnetic field. This field could pose a danger to the onboard instruments. For this reason, the Europa Clipper is designed with technology that will allow it to withstand these adversities. And when will this exciting mission launch? The Europa Clipper is scheduled to take off in the near future, with the hope that it will travel through space for several years before reaching its destination. Once there, the spacecraft will conduct multiple flybys, allowing it to collect valuable data about the icy moon and its hidden ocean. Let's think about what this would mean for humanity. What implications would the discovery of life on Europa have? The answer could change our perspective on life in the universe. The possibility that we are not alone in the cosmos is a thought that has fascinated generations. The discovery of life in such an unexpected place could revolutionize our understanding of biology and evolution. The Europa Clipper mission will also help us better understand how oceans form and evolve on other worlds. This has profound implications not only for the search for life in our solar system, but also on exoplanets orbiting other stars. Research on Europa could shed light on where else we might search for life in the vast universe. With each new advance in space exploration, we move one step closer to answering some of the deepest questions about the existence of life beyond Earth. The Europa Clipper mission is just one part of that journey, but its potential to discover something extraordinary is immense. As we await the launch of the spacecraft, excitement grows. Europa, with its hidden ocean and promise of life, reminds us that the universe is full of mysteries waiting to be uncovered. Each new discovery invites us to explore more, to question more, and above all, to dream beyond what we know. The search for life on Europa is not just a journey to a distant world, but a journey inward, toward our understanding of the universe. The colonization of Mars has shifted from being a science fiction dream to a tangible goal. The possibility of humans stepping on Martian soil has captured the imagination of scientists, engineers, and dreamers alike. But what does it really mean to send humans to another planet? The first big question that arises is, why Mars? The answer is simple. Mars is the planet most similar to Earth in our solar system. It has seasons, poles, and even an atmosphere, albeit a very thin one. However, not everything is so straightforward. Mars presents challenges that would make any adventurer tremble. One of the main obstacles is the lack of oxygen. While on Earth we breathe oxygen and enjoy its abundance, on Mars, this gas is scarce. The Martian atmosphere is mostly composed of carbon dioxide. This leads us to the next question: how could we breathe on Mars? Scientists are exploring technologies that could allow for the production of oxygen from carbon dioxide on Mars. Imagine a kind of plant that, instead of absorbing carbon dioxide and releasing oxygen like plants on Earth do, efficiently converts it into breathable air. Radiation is another formidable enemy on Mars. Without the protection of a strong magnetic field like Earth's, Martian inhabitants would be exposed to radiation levels that could be harmful to health. Therefore, researchers are devising underground habitats or even structures covered with materials that protect colonists from this dangerous radiation. Imagine living underground like moles, but with advanced technology that allows you to have a modern lifestyle. Gravity on Mars is also a topic of interest. Martian gravity is about 1/3 of Earth's gravity. This raises an intriguing question. How would this affect our bodies? We might be lighter, but we could also face long-term health issues, such as bone loss. Scientists are working on solutions, such as physical exercises adapted to this reduced gravity, to keep colonists healthy and strong. Agriculture on Mars is another fascinating aspect of colonization. How would we grow food on a planet where the soil is not like what we know? Researchers are experimenting with crops in sealed greenhouses, using artificial light and a controlled environment. This could allow colonists to produce their own food, creating a small garden in the inhospitable Martian landscape. Imagine harvesting lettuce and tomatoes in the midst of a vast red desert. Communication with Earth also presents challenges. The distance between Mars and our planet can cause significant delays in signals. This raises a crucial question: how would we manage daily life and emergencies in an environment where each message takes minutes to arrive? Colonists would need to develop a sense of autonomy and make quick decisions, as in a kind of real-time survival reality. In addition to oxygen, agriculture, and communication, energy is fundamental. How would colonists obtain the energy necessary to survive on Mars? Solar panels are one option, but other energy sources such as nuclear are also being considered. Imagining living in a home that gets its energy from a small nuclear plant is a fascinating concept, but it also raises the question of how to manage safety and waste. The motivation behind all this research is not just science. The colonization of Mars could also have a significant impact on Earth. By learning to live on another planet, we could develop new technologies that also benefit our home. Who knows? Perhaps the solutions to problems like climate change lie in the quest for life on Mars. Meanwhile, test missions are underway. Space agencies and private companies are developing advanced rockets to take humans to Mars. Some plans aim for this to happen in the next decade. Are we really on the verge of Martian colonization? The possibilities are exciting and at the same time unsettling. The idea of living on another planet raises not only technical questions but also ethical ones. If we succeed in colonizing Mars, what implications will this have for life on Earth and for Mars itself? The responsibility of caring for and protecting a new world would be enormous. It is a responsibility we must carefully consider before taking the leap. As we enter this new era of space exploration, it is vital to remember that every step we take toward Mars reflects our curiosity and desire to explore. The colonization of Mars is not just a physical journey, but also a journey of self-discovery. Through these efforts, we will not only learn about another planet, but also about ourselves. In conclusion, the colonization of Mars presents itself as an exciting and daunting challenge. From oxygen production to habitat construction, every aspect requires extraordinary ingenuity. However, The possibility that one day we may call Mars our home is a vision that motivates us to continue exploring, innovating, and dreaming. Who knows? Perhaps one day, future generations will look back and see this moment as the beginning of a new era in the history of humanity. Have you ever imagined what it would be like to live on Mars? This planet, the fourth from the Sun, has captured the imagination of humanity for centuries. But what would it really take for humans to survive and thrive in this hostile environment? The answer is not simple, but it is fascinating. First, let's talk about the atmosphere. Mars has a very thin atmosphere, composed mainly of carbon dioxide. This means there is not enough oxygen for humans to breathe. So, the first challenge would be to create an environment where people can breathe. This could involve building closed habitats that generate oxygen. Imagine a kind of giant bubble where inside you can feel at home, surrounded by plants that produce the oxygen you need. What about food? On Earth, agriculture is essential for our survival, but on Mars, the situation is different. The planet's surface is cold and dusty, and the nutrients in the soil are scarce. However, scientists are exploring innovative techniques such as hydroponics, where plants grow in liquid solutions instead of soil. Imagine growing fresh lettuce in a controlled environment while outside the temperature is extremely cold. Quite a challenge, right? Water is another vital resource. On Mars, liquid water is scarce. But did you know that signs of ice have been found at its poles? Extracting that ice and turning it into drinking water would be essential. This would not only provide water for drinking, but also for growing food. Imagine the joy of a group of colonists discovering an abundant water supply in a place that once seemed inhospitable. Radiation is another formidable enemy. On Mars, the atmosphere does not protect its inhabitants from solar radiation like Earth does. Therefore, habitats on Mars would need to be designed to shield colonists from this harmful radiation. Can you imagine living in a place where every day you have to be alert to radiation? It would be like living in a submarine, where every detail of the construction has a vital purpose to keep you safe. And of course, we cannot forget the psychological aspect of life on Mars. Loneliness and isolation are challenges that could affect the colonists. Being far from Earth, from family and friends, can be overwhelming. Therefore, missions to Mars will need to focus not only on physical survival, but also on the mental health of astronauts. What activities could they do to stay happy and connected? Perhaps establishing a routine of recreational activities like sports or game nights. But how will humans get to Mars? Rocket technology has advanced a lot, but the journey still takes months. Imagine being in a spacecraft, floating in the vacuum of space. Engineers are working on ships that could make this journey faster and safer. The design of these ships is crucial, don't you think? They will need to be able to protect colonists from radiation and provide everything they need during the trip. Once they arrive on Mars, building habitats would be one of the top priorities. These would not only need to be functional, but also comfortable. The idea is for colonists to feel as close to home as possible. Can you imagine customizing your space on Mars? You would have to think about how to make that place feel warm and welcoming despite being on a cold desert planet. Energy is another fundamental aspect. On Earth, we rely on various energy sources such as the sun, wind, and gas. On Mars, solar energy could be a viable option, given that the planet receives sunlight. However, colonists would need to store that energy for cloudy days or Martian nights. How would that be done? Perhaps using advanced batteries or nuclear energy systems? As we progress in the colonization of Mars, we must also think about sustainability. It's not just about surviving, but living in a way that doesn't deplete the planet's resources, creating a closed ecosystem where waste is recycled and reused will be crucial. Can you imagine a system where everything is reused like in a self-sufficient farm in space? Communication with Earth will also be a challenge. With the time it takes to send messages between Mars and our planet, colonists will have to adapt to a new way of life where the immediacy we know does not exist. How will this change our interactions with the people we leave behind? The distance could make some relationships feel different, even deeper as we value each exchanged message. Finally, the success of Mars colonization depends on collaboration. Science, engineering, biology, and psychology must work together to solve these challenges. Each discipline has a vital role to play. Can you imagine being part of a team that is building the future on another planet? It's an exciting idea that could change the course of human history. So while the challenges seem great, the opportunities are even more impressive. Colonizing Mars would not only represent a giant leap for humanity, but could also teach us valuable lessons about life on Earth. Who knows, perhaps in the future, you yourself could be one of the Martian pioneers, exploring a new home in the vast universe. The adventure is just beginning. The search for life on other worlds is one of the most intriguing questions we can ask ourselves. Are we alone in the vast universe, or are there other beings, perhaps in places we can't even imagine? This search is not just a matter of curiosity, it is also a reflection of our desire to understand our place in the cosmos. With each discovery, we move one step closer to answering this question that has fascinated humanity since time immemorial. One of the places that has captured the attention of scientists and dreamers alike is Europa, one of Jupiter's moons. What makes Europa so special? Imagine a sphere of ice about 167 kilometers thick, floating on a dark and mysterious ocean. Beneath that icy layer, it is believed that there is a vast ocean of liquid water. This combination of ice and water could be the perfect breeding ground for life. What kind of life could exist in an ocean hidden beneath an icy crust? That is the question that motivates us to explore further. The environment on Europa is extreme. Temperatures are below freezing. And Jupiter's radiation is intense, but that hasn't stopped scientists. In fact, some argue that the extreme conditions could even be a refuge for forms of life that we might not easily recognize. Imagine a world where creatures have evolved to survive in darkness, feeding on chemical compounds instead of sunlight. Could these creatures be life forms like those we know, or are they completely different? To answer these questions, a mission called Europa Clipper has been planned. This ambitious project aims to send a probe to Europa to study its surface, its ocean, and the chemistry of its atmosphere. The exciting thing about this mission is that it not only seeks life like ours, but also explores the possibility that completely different forms of life may exist. What unexpected discoveries await us on this icy world? As Europa Clipper approaches its destination, its instruments will be designed to penetrate the ice layer and analyze the water of the underlying ocean. The goal is to find out not only if there is water, but also if it contains the basic elements for life, such as carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. Could it be that Europa is a natural laboratory where the secrets of life are hidden, waiting to be discovered? It is fascinating to think that every time we look at the sky, we could be observing a potential home for other beings. If we find life on Europa, it would change our understanding of biology and evolution. It would make us question our beliefs about how and where life can arise. The existence of life on Europa could mean that we are not alone, that life can flourish in conditions we once considered impossible. However, the exploration of Europa is not just a search for life, it is also an opportunity to learn more about our own planet. The science derived from this mission could help unravel mysteries about Earth's climate, the formation of oceans, and the evolution of life. Sometimes the secrets of the universe are closely related to our history on the planet. Meanwhile, the scientific community is conducting simulations and experiments on Earth to prepare for what Europa Clipper might find. Environments that mimic Europa's extreme conditions are being created to study how organisms might survive in such circumstances. What surprises will science bring us, and what unexpected discoveries will arise from these experiments? the search for life on Europa also raises ethical questions. If we find life, even in simple forms, what will that mean for our view of the universe? How should we interact with that life if it exists? The implications of these discoveries are profound and invite us to reflect on our responsibility as inhabitants of Earth. With each mission and each discovery, we move closer to unveiling the secrets of the cosmos. Europa. Clipper is just one step in a journey that has lasted centuries, from our earliest observations of the sky to the sophisticated probes we send today. Human curiosity is insatiable, and the search for life on other worlds is one of the driving forces that pushes us forward. So, as we look up at the night sky, let us remember that every star and every moon could be a potential home for life. The exploration of space is a reflection of our own search for meaning and connection in the universe. The story of humanity is intertwined with exploration, and the search for life on Europa is just one of the chapters in this grand adventure. As we move into the future, the exploration of Europa and other celestial bodies will teach us more about ourselves and the universe we inhabit. Let us keep an open mind, for tomorrow's findings could be so surprising that they will change our way of seeing the cosmos forever. Each mission, each discovery invites us to dream beyond what we know. And that is what makes space exploration one of humanity's most exciting adventures. What if I told you that there is a group of scientists whose job is to protect us from a danger that could come from space? Can you imagine a giant asteroid hurtling toward Earth at high speed? While it sounds like something out of a science fiction movie, the reality is that these celestial objects exist and could pose a threat to our planet. Today, we will explore how they are preparing to face this possibility and how the DART mission plays a crucial role in all of this. The DART mission, which stands for Double Asteroid Redirection Test, aims to test something really bold, to divert an asteroid. But why is this so important? Imagine you are on a road and see a car speeding toward you. The most logical option would be to move to avoid the collision, right? The same goes for asteroids. DART aims to do precisely that, change the trajectory of an asteroid heading toward Earth. But how is that achieved? The answer lies in physics. DART does not carry a gigantic rocket or a weapon system. In reality, it is a small probe that is heading toward its target at an impressive speed. The plan is to crash directly into an asteroid to alter its path. This approach is based on the idea that even a small push can make a big difference over time. It's like when you push a ball on a soccer field. If you push it just a little over time, it can end up far away from where you started. There are two asteroids in the system that DART has in its sights, Didymos and its moon, Dimorphos. While Didymos is the larger one, Dimorphos is considered the target of the mission. The idea is that by impacting Dimorphos, the change in its orbit around Didymos can be measured. If a significant change is achieved, it will give us confidence in the effectiveness of this type of strategy to protect Earth in the future. But here comes an intriguing question. Why should we be concerned about asteroids in the first place? The answer lies in our history. Throughout Earth's history, we have been struck by asteroids and comets. Some of those impacts have had devastating consequences, such as the extinction of the dinosaurs. Therefore, understanding how to prevent future impacts is vital for our survival. It is fascinating to think that Earth has been in a kind of danger zone for billions of years. Every time we look at the sky, we could be observing objects that might threaten us. But DART gives us a tool to mitigate that risk and allows us to be proactive rather than reactive. The planning and launch process of DART has been monumental. And it is not just about technology, it also involves a great collaborative effort among scientists, engineers, and space agencies from around the world. The mission not only represents a technological advance, but also a global effort to protect our home. The importance of the DART mission goes beyond mere planetary defense. It teaches us about the nature of asteroids, their compositions, and how they interact with other celestial bodies. Every discovery we make brings us one step closer to understanding our place in the universe and how we can protect it. As DART approaches its target, the excitement among scientists and space enthusiasts is palpable. The images and data obtained from the mission could change the way we view asteroids and, more importantly, how we prepare for them. But what will happen after the impact? Scientists will be closely monitoring to see if the change in Dimorphos's orbit is significant. This is just the beginning of a new era in planetary defense. Remember, DART is not the only mission underway. There are many other efforts aimed at cataloguing and tracking near-Earth asteroids. Each of these projects contributes to a more complete map of the traffic in our cosmic neighborhood. And in the future, we may see more missions designed to divert asteroids, perhaps even using more advanced technologies. So the next time you look up at the starry sky, think about what is being done to protect Earth. The DART mission is a reminder that humanity is not only observing the cosmos, but also taking steps to ensure that we can continue to exist in this vast universe. It is a fascinating effort that reflects our curiosity and desire to survive. Exploring space is more than just science. It is a story of adventure, challenge, and collaboration. As we continue to look toward the stars, let us remember that defending our home is a crucial part of that story. With each discovery, we not only learn about the universe, but we also take care of ourselves and future generations. The search for life on Venus is one of the most intriguing questions of modern science. Despite being the second planet closest to the Sun, its environment is a true enigma. How is it possible that in such an inhospitable place there could be some form of life? The surface of Venus is a scorching oven, with temperatures exceeding 400 degrees Celsius, enough to melt lead. However, recently, scientists have begun to look beyond its blistering surface, focusing on the clouds that surround the planet. The clouds of Venus are primarily composed of carbon dioxide and sulfuric acid, creating a dense and oppressive atmosphere. But did you know that in these clouds there could be a more hospitable environment? About 50 kilometers above the surface, the temperature is much more pleasant, hovering around 20 degrees Celsius. This raises a fascinating question. Could life exist in these higher layers where conditions are less extreme? Imagine a floating microbe like a small sponge using the nutrient-rich clouds to survive. This concept may sound strange, but it is precisely what scientists are considering. Instead of searching for life on worlds similar to Earth, why not look at Venus, a planet that at first glance seems completely inhospitable? The extreme conditions of Venus could actually be home to forms of life that we do not yet know. As research progresses, scientists have begun to detect signals that could indicate the presence of unusual chemical compounds in the clouds. One of the most intriguing molecules is phosphine, a gas that on Earth is associated with biological activity. If it were confirmed that the phosphine on Venus comes from biological processes, it would open a new chapter in our understanding of life in the universe. The search for life on Venus does not stop with the detection of gases. Missions are also being developed to directly explore these clouds. One example is the proposed mission that would send floating balloons into the atmosphere of Venus. These balloons could collect samples and analyze the chemical composition of the environment, searching for signs of life. Can you imagine what it would be like to observe the planet from the air, as if you were flying over an ocean of thick clouds? However, exploring Venus presents unique challenges. The atmospheric pressure at the surface is nearly 90 times greater than that of Earth, making it difficult for landing probes to withstand extreme conditions. This means that any technology used must be incredibly robust and capable of enduring the hostile environment. But what if instead of landing, we simply floated? The idea of floating in the atmosphere of Venus has become increasingly popular. Balloons could remain in the upper layers where conditions are more favorable. This way, not only would the dangers of the surface be avoided, but the environment could also be studied more effectively. This innovative approach could revolutionize our search for life. Scientists are also considering how Venus's geological history could provide clues about its ability to host life. Unlike Earth, which has experienced changing climates, Venus seems to have undergone a phase of extreme warming. Could this have wiped out any form of life that once existed? Or on the contrary, has some form of life survived in the most hidden corners of its atmosphere? Meanwhile, comparisons between Venus and Earth lead us to reflect on the possibility that there are other unexplored worlds that could also harbor life. If microbes can survive in the clouds of Venus, we might also find life in places we once considered too extreme, like the oceans of Europa or the atmospheres of distant exoplanets. The search for life on Venus is not just about finding organisms, but about understanding how the necessary conditions for life form and evolve. Is it possible that Venus is an example of what could have happened to Earth if it had taken a different path in its climatic evolution? This is a question that leads us to reflect on our own planet and its place in the cosmos. As we advance in our exploration, the technology we use becomes increasingly sophisticated. From telescopes scanning the skies for signs of life to probes traveling to the far reaches of the solar system, human curiosity knows no bounds. The exploration of Venus is just one part of a larger effort to understand our place in the universe. The future of research on Venus is promising. With each new discovery, we get closer to answering the question that has intrigued humanity for centuries. Are we alone in the universe? The search for life on Venus could not only reveal secrets about its atmosphere, but also about our own existence. The exploration of Venus is an exciting journey into the unknown. As we delve into this atmosphere full of mystery, we can begin to imagine a future where life in all its forms is not just a terrestrial phenomenon, but a common feature of many worlds in the universe. The search continues, and each discovery brings us closer to an astonishing truth that could change our perception of the cosmos forever. Wormholes are one of the most fascinating and enigmatic ideas in modern physics. They are often described as shortcuts through space and time, a kind of tunnel that connects two distant points in the universe. But do they really exist, and how could they work? To understand this, imagine that space is like a sheet of paper. If you fold the paper, you can bring 2 points that were once far apart closer together, sir. That is the essence of a wormhole, a way to connect distant places without having to travel the entire distance between them. Now the question that arises is, what kind of journey could we take through a wormhole? Think of the possibilities. We could visit the stars in a matter of minutes or even travel through time. The idea sounds exciting, but it also raises a series of challenges and dilemmas. If we could travel through a wormhole, what would happen if someone decided to change something in the past? Could that alter our present? An intriguing aspect of wormholes is that if they exist, they could be unstable. Imagine trying to cross a swinging bridge that shakes and trembles with every step. In theory, wormholes require a form of exotic matter, something we have yet to find, to keep their structure open and allow passage. Without this matter, the wormhole could collapse, leaving anyone trapped in a one-way journey. This leads us to another question. Does that exotic matter really exist? Human imagination has explored wormholes through science fiction for decades. Movies and books have presented stories where characters use these tunnels to travel to distant worlds. However, the science behind them is even more fascinating than fiction. Physicists have formulated theories about how they could form, but so far, there is no concrete evidence that they exist in our universe. When we consider the scale of the universe, the idea of wormholes becomes even more intriguing. The vastness of space can be overwhelming. What if there were ways to shorten those journeys? Traveling through space can take years, even centuries, in a conventional ship. But with a wormhole, those journeys could be instantaneous. However, the nature of the journey raises ethical questions. Should we explore these paths if they existed? Wormholes also lead us to question our understanding of time. If we could travel through one, would we have the opportunity to see the future or the past? The idea of being able to observe historical events, like the Big Bang, sounds fascinating but also terrifying. What if someone decided to interfere with those events? The multiverse theory suggests that we could create alternate realities. Every decision could lead to a new universe, complicating things even further. It is essential to remember that although the idea of wormholes is appealing, their existence is still in the realm of theory. Science is constantly advancing, and what seems impossible today could become reality in the future. However, human curiosity about understanding the universe is what drives us to investigate and seek answers. Each new discovery in physics and astronomy brings us one step closer to unraveling the mysteries of the cosmos. The search for wormholes also raises questions about our own existence. If we could travel through them, how would our perception of the universe change? Would we see ourselves as interdimensional travelers? Explorers of alternate realities. The idea that there is more than one path in life, different realities branching out, is a concept that resonates deeply in the philosophies and mythologies of various cultures. As technology advances and science develops, the quest for answers about wormholes continues. From observing astronomical phenomena to studying relativity, each advancement brings us closer to understanding how the universe works. Curiosity and exploration are part of our human nature, and exploring wormholes is a way to extend our vision beyond what we know. In summary, wormholes represent one of the most intriguing frontiers of science. Although they are still a theoretical concept, their potential to change our understanding of space and time is immense. The search for answers about their existence, how they work, and the implications they would have on our lives keeps us in a constant state of wonder. Every day, as we look up at the sky, we remind ourselves that the universe still holds secrets waiting to be discovered. The exploration of these mysteries is undoubtedly one of the most exciting adventures of our existence. The vastness of space is not only filled with wonders and mysteries, but it also faces a problem that could jeopardize the future of our explorations. As we launch more satellites, probes, and space missions, Earth's orbit is becoming a dumping ground. Space debris is accumulating, and the question that arises is, what happens to all those objects floating in space? Every year, thousands of pieces are added to this cloud of junk. From inactive satellites to rocket remnants, these objects can travel at speeds of up to 25,000 kilometers per hour. To put it in perspective, that's faster than a bullet. So what happens when a small piece of space debris collides with a satellite or a spacecraft? The result can be devastating. A collision can trigger a chain reaction, generating more debris that in turn can cause further collisions. It's a dangerous cycle that could render certain orbits unusable. The situation is exacerbated by the fact that many of these fragments are practically invisible. While there are radars that can track larger objects, small particles can pose a real threat and are difficult to detect. This raises a dilemma. How can we protect our future missions and ultimately our planet? Let's consider the ocean as an analogy. Just as trash in our oceans can affect marine life and wash up on shores, space debris can harm our activities in space. If we do not act, we could find ourselves in a situation where missions to explore other worlds are limited by the risk of collisions. The question that arises is, how are we handling this situation? Some engineers and scientists are developing innovative solutions. One of them is the creation of devices that can capture this waste. Imagine a large magnet that attracts and collects space junk. In this case, nets or robotic arms are being used to catch fragments. Just as a fisherman casts his net into the sea, these devices are designed to trap debris in space. Additionally, more extreme methods are being considered, such as the use of lasers. Yes, you heard that right. Some scientists are exploring the possibility of using lasers to deflect the trajectory of these dangerous fragments, making them fall into the atmosphere where they would burn up. But here too, a concern arises. Could lasers be safe, and how can we ensure they do not cause more problems? On the other hand, the design of new satellites is also changing. They are now being built with a limited lifespan. So once they have fulfilled their function, they disintegrate or move to a lower orbit to burn up in the atmosphere. This is one way to minimize the accumulation of space debris. However, the problem is not limited to Earth. Other planets and moons are also being explored, and the possibility of leaving waste on other celestial bodies raises another series of questions. If we go to Mars, what will happen to our rovers once they finish their mission? Are we condemning our future explorers to deal with the trash we leave behind? International cooperation is vital to address this problem, just as global agreements are needed to care for our oceans. A collective effort is also required to keep space clean. The establishment of regulations and collaboration among countries is crucial to ensure that space remains an accessible and safe place for exploration. As we look to the future, it is essential that we commit to developing technologies for cleaning and managing space waste. If we do not take action now, we could see a future where access to space is restricted and explorations become a dangerous and costly endeavor. Each of us has a role to play in preserving space. By learning about these issues and sharing information, we can foster a sense of collective responsibility. Are you ready to be part of the solution? In summary, managing space debris is a challenge we cannot ignore. As we continue to explore and expand our presence in space, we must do so responsibly. The future of space exploration depends on our ability to keep space clean and safe. With the right innovation and collaboration, we can tackle this problem and ensure that the cosmos remains a place of discovery and wonder for generations to come. The exploration of the solar system is one of the most fascinating adventures humanity has undertaken. As we observe the stars and planets, we encounter a universe full of mysteries and wonders. But what is the purpose of studying these celestial bodies? What can we learn from them that impacts our lives here on Earth? Each planet, moon, and asteroid has a story to tell. A story that can teach us about the past of our own planet. Just like an archaeologist unearthing remnants of an ancient civilization, scientists unravel the secrets of the cosmos. By studying how planets formed and what conditions prevail on them, we can better understand our place in the vast universe. And just as explorers of old sought new lands, we seek new worlds that could harbor life or offer vital resources for our future survival. Looking to the future, it is crucial to reflect on how each discovery connects us to the immense space that surrounds us. For example, did you know that many of the elements that make up our bodies were forged in the hearts of stars that exploded billions of years ago? This connection reminds us that we are part of a cosmic cycle, where life on Earth is just a chapter in a much larger story. However, this exploration is not without challenges. Space debris is becoming a serious problem. Imagine that space is a vast and beautiful ocean, and we are throwing trash into it. If we do not start taking care of our spatial environment, we could be closing the door to future explorations and discoveries. How can we ensure that space remains a place of wonders and not a landfill? The preservation of space is as important as exploration itself. Every mission we launch into space is a step toward the future, but it also carries a responsibility. This balance between discovering and caring is fundamental to our survival as a species. What legacy do we want to leave for future generations? A clean space full of opportunities, or a chaos of waste that limits their ability to explore? As we look to the stars, we must also remember that Earth is our home. Caring for our planet is as essential as exploring the cosmos. The technology we develop to travel to other worlds can also be used to improve our lives here, from renewable energies to new forms of agriculture. Science advances in parallel with our quest for other planets. Human curiosity is a powerful engine. It drives us to ask questions, seek answers, and never stop. But how do we channel that curiosity toward a sustainable future? Education and awareness are key tools. By sharing our knowledge about space and its importance, we can inspire the next generations to continue exploration with a sense of responsibility. Looking to the sky should not be just a pastime, but a call to action. Space exploration offers us a unique opportunity to unite as a species. Every time we send a probe or rover to another planet, we are collaborating like never before. What if we all came together to protect our home and explore the universe? The future of solar system exploration is bright, but also uncertain. There are many challenges ahead, from the colonization of Mars to the search for life on moons like Europa. Each of these goals represents a new step in our evolution as a species. Are we ready to take on the responsibility that comes with it? The key lies in collaboration. Governments, scientists, and citizens around the world must work together. Space exploration is not just an effort of one country or group, but a global endeavor. Together, we can discover new frontiers and protect our home in the process. In summary, the exploration of the solar system is an ongoing journey filled with discoveries. Every mission, every experiment, every piece of data collected brings us a little closer to understanding our place in the universe. But let us not forget that this journey is not just about the destination, but about how we care for the path we travel. The next time you look at the stars, remember that you are not just observing a distant sky, but the future of humanity. A future where exploration and conservation go hand in hand, where each of us has a role to play in the story of the cosmos. So, what steps are you willing to take today to ensure that space remains a place of wonders for generations to come? The answer is in our hands, and the journey is just beginning.